Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Today, our group will present on payment system and working hours, which is from chapter 5 of HRM433, Principle of Human Resource Management course. From this chapter, we have chosen to focus on a very important and current issue, which is overtime exploitation and unpaid work hours. Before we begin, let me introduce my team members. I am Kamara binti Bujang, and joining me are Nurul Afifah binti Alias, Nurizatul Azmira binti Atan, Dia Maisara binti Zalizan, and Nur Jannah binti Muhammad. Together, we will explain this topic by looking at how it affects employees, organization, and possible human resource solution. Our presentation will cover 6 main parts, which are introduction of the issue, impact of the issue to employee, impact of the issue on organization, consequence if not addressing the issue, solution, and lastly, conclusion. Now that we have introduced our topic and structure, let's begin with the first part, which is the introduction of the issue.
Today, our group will talk about a very real issues in human resources management under the theme of payment and working hours. The issues we choose is overtime exploitation and unpaid work hours. In Malaysia, the Employment Act says employers should not work more than 8 hours a day or 45 hours a week, and that any extra time must be paid fairly. But in reality, many workers, especially in sectors such as retail and manufacturing, are still being asked to work long hours without proper overtime pay. This issue is critical because it affects not just employers' motivation and work-life balance, but also an organization productivity and reputation. In this presentation, we will highlight the problem, the impact, and HR solution that can make a difference.
Overtime exploitation and unpaid work hour have a big impact on employee. Let me explain some of the impact on employee. Firstly, employees often suffer from burnout and stress. When they work long hours without fair pay, they feel physically tired and emotionally drained. This makes it hard to focus and lower their overall performance. Next, too much overtime creates work-life imbalance. Because of too much time at work, employees have less time for their family, friends, and even themselves. This can cause problems in relationship and also make workers feel lonely or isolated. Another impact is decreased motivation and morale. If employees are not paid fairly for the extra effort, they feel it unfair. According to equity theory, people expect reward that match their effort. If that doesn't happen, they lose interest and stop giving their best. And because of this issue, many talented employees develop turnover intention. In simple words, they start planning to leave the company and look for a better job in an organization that respect their right and time, which make the problem even bigger for the company. Long working hours also bring health risks. Employees may suffer from sleep problems, stress, depression, or even long-term illness like heart disease. So, the impact is not only on job performance, but also on physical and mental health. Lastly, all of these issues add up to a perception of exploitation. When companies make overtime unpaid or call it voluntary, employees feel undervalued. This destroys trust between workers and management. And once trust is broken, it is very difficult to rebuild. To sum up, unpaid overtime harm employees in many ways, from stress and poor health to low motivation and higher turnover. This shows why human resource must make sure overtime is handled fairly, following the Employment Act and protecting employee well-being.
Next, I'm going to explain about impact on organization. But first of all, what is organization? Organization is a structured group of people working together to achieve common goals. It can be a business, non-profit, government agency, or community groups, depending on its purpose. So, let's take a look in impact in organization. First, legal risk. Overtime working hours increase labor costs since employees must be paid at a higher rate. It It can also cause reduced productivity and raise the risk of mistake or accidents. Continuous overtime lowers morals, leads to burnout and may cause higher staff turnover. In several cases, it can even result in legal issue and reputation damage if labor laws are violated. Second, loss of trust. This can happen due to poor communication or repeated failures to meet expectation. When trust is lost, employees may feel dismotivated and loyal. Customer may switch to competitors, and stakeholders may withdraw their support. Over time, this weakens the organizational reputation, reduce business opportunity, and make it harder to rebuild strong relationships. Third, reputation risk. Reputation risk is the potential harms to an organization image, credibility, or public perception. They may arise from negative event, action, or publicity. It can result from issues such as poor customer service, regulator violence, or product failures. When reputation risk materialize, this can lead to loss of customer confidence, reduced sales, difficulty attracting talents, and long-term damage to stakeholder relationship. And lastly, health and safety risks. Health and safety risks endanger employees' well-being by exposing them to accidents, injury, or stress in the workplace. Such risks not only harm individuals but also increase legal liabilities, compensation claims, and financial costs for the organization. Over time, frequent health and safety issues can weaken overall performance, lower employees' morals, and damage the organizational reputation as a responsible and safe employer.
Let's take a look at the consequences if overtime exploitation is not solved. For employees in the future, continuous long hours will cause chronic burnout that may lead to serious health problems. We will also see higher absenteeism and medical leave as workers are too exhausted to perform. In the long run, skilled employers may move to better employers or even overseas, creating a brain drain problem. For organization, the financial and competitive costs will increase. Company will face higher turnover costs because they need to spend more on recruitment and training every time workers leave. On top of that, a damaged employer brand will make it difficult to attract new talents. If this continues, productivity will decline and the organization will become less competitive in the market. Finally, for the society and the economy, unpaid overtime that remain unsolved will create a weak work-life balance culture. At the same time, the healthcare system may strain as more employees suffer from stress-related illness.
Now, let's look at the solution. To solve issues related to overtime working hours, HR should first ensure compliance with labor laws, such as the Employment Act and minimum wage regulation. This prevents legal risks and builds trust among employees. Next, organizations should implement a transparent and fair overtime pay system. For example, paying 1.5 times on normal day, double on rest day, and triple on public holiday. When employees see fairness, they are more motivated. Another solution is to introduce flexible scheduling options like flex time, job sharing, and remote work. This arrangement improves work-life balance, reduce burnout, and attract diverse talent. Finally, HR can minimize excessive overtime by improving supervision, providing training, and investing in technology. This step enhance efficiency, reduce costs, and support employee health. In short, practical HR solutions combine fair pay, legal compliance, and flexible scheduling, and ensuring both organizational productivity and employees' well-being.
In conclusion, overtime exploitation and unpaid work hours are more than just legal issues. They affect employees' well-being, motivations, and the reputation of organization. To create a fair and sustainable workplace, HR must take action such as follow labor laws, ensure transparent overtime pay, reduce excessive overtime, and then support flexible scheduling. At the end of the day, fair pay for fair work not only a basic right, but also the key to building a trust, productivity, and long-term success in any organization. That's all from us. Thank you.